Good morning, everybody. John Chester, Operations Section Chief with Southwest Team 2. We'll start with our operational overview for Monday, June 6, 2022. So for the south zone of the Calf Canyon Hermits Peak fire, over here in what we call Branch 11, so which is the eastern side of the fire, the repair work, a lot of good repair work is ongoing and continuing. So we have a repair group in that area. We also have what we're just calling the Alpha Bravo group. And those folks are also starting repair down here in the Mineral Hill area. And so the Alpha Bravo folks are going to be continuing to answer calls for service as they come in, making sure lines are secure and there's no hot spots along them. But they're also going to be, like I said, getting started with a lot of the operational suppression repair type work, using the equipment, pulling the dozer berms back in and trying to restore that back to a more natural state, as with the group up in the northern part of the south zone. So a lot of good work is out there. It's been identified and we have begun implementation. The area from Big Pine coming back out to the east side of the fire there, they've kind of completed a lot of the work that was in there, and so it'll just be finishing up, touching up stuff in there as it comes about. Moving along to the Branch 15 over here in lower Upper Colonias, just as a general reference area along the fire's edge over there. Repair work has been identified. They have begun chipping along the fire's edge for the slash that was moved to from the burn side to the green side. They're pulling that stuff back out, chipping it, scattering it to clean up that mess. Additionally, any excess equipment and other trash that may have occurred from the suppression actions that were in there is being cleaned up and backhauled off the line. Equipment to places where it's more usable or the needs would be met, and that would be likely back up here in the Geronimo Cowles areas to help support the operation as it moves into that area. Continued work along here just to patrol and monitor the hot spots that are interior to make sure that stays good. And then coming up into Division Foxtrot, those folks, several days ago, we began the ignition sequence that has been thoroughly planned out and reviewed time and time again, and it's analyzed every day. So this afternoon, likely to see a bit more smoke potentially come up and be visible from the surrounding areas. That operation is ongoing. It's moving at a slower pace. We're not in a big rush to really push that down the hill, so we're trying to get it to an area where the vegetation and fuel types have changed a little bit, and so it'll make it easier for holding and give us a spot to hold it up for a little bit, and then to continue to assess how that's going to move through and as we progress over the days to come. So with that, there's a combination of hand lighting, so personnel on the ground, some aviation type operations, helicopters, and then using the unmanned Romeo, which is a UAS platform, a drone essentially, if you will, to accomplish some of the aviation ignitions. Again, it is at a slow pace. It's very controlled and very thought out and planned. So as we move along down in here into Cowles, those folks are continuing to strengthen the structure protection that has gone on in there. They're getting hose lays and water handling support equipment, what we call pumpkins, so large portable water sources they set up and they put pumps in and they can pump those hose lays up and down, and there's a tremendous amount of hose out there, so probably between 5 and 15 miles worth of hose that is stretched out along those control lines, and so it takes a big lift to get those pumpkins set up in areas where we can effectively pump and have good pressure along that hose line along with the fire's edge or the proposed fire edge. So a lot of good work is continuing in there. And then as we come up into Division India, or I here, we've got an indirect piece of line that is plugged in from the Hamilton Mesa down into the creek bottom there towards that Trimpus fire scar. And that is just going to be used as a holding action to prevent this active piece down here from continuing on up and getting into some of those timber stringers that are running up the eastern side of the Hamilton Mesa there. So fire activity over here is still continuing. It's backing slowly and then flanking as it backs down and gets a little flank running with the wind gets on it and with the slope. So Again, today you could see some increased smoke coming out of that area from the active fire that's interior, and then the planned firing operations that should be occurring later this afternoon. So overall, it's been a real quiet last couple days on the incident, and as things continue, hopefully we'll keep at that operational pace where it's very slow and deliberate with the actions that they're doing out there. Additionally, as we continue, I want to reiterate that the PIO hotline is still active. You can still call in to those to report things you may see, smokes within the fire area, things that might give you cause for concern that you want answered. So feel free to call that line. It's from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's staffed. After that, if there's stuff that comes up, please feel free to call 911 to report issues within the incident area. And we will send people out to ground truth and investigate and make sure that our control lines are still secure and the threats out there are minimized and they're not going to impact the communities. Additionally, with that, the Facebook account that you guys all log on to, they're posting lots of messages, videos of the different actions that you may see out there. So some water dropping, there will probably be a neat little thing in there about the pack string. We got some mules that are taking supplies up into the wilderness, and then just some general everyday info concerning the incident. So feel free to get on that Facebook page, scroll through it, ask your questions, leave your comments, and we'll be happy to try to answer those over the days to come. So overall, still a lot of good work out there. A lot of good work still needs to be done. We're continuing with that. We have a large amount of resources still here on the incident to provide that work. And so operations are continuing very smoothly at this time, and we forecast that will still stay in place over the next few days. So appreciate the community support and all the thank you signs that we see around town and the communities. With that, have a great day. Take care of each other, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.